This mother, lost in anger and influenced by alcohol, misjudged her discipline, so the judge granted her a second chance with probation, hoping for her recovery.
Well, she shouldn't have been drinking and driving. And I will tell you, this is what I've discovered about alcohol. When people drink a lot of alcohol and they do things, they say, well, the alcohol made me do it. Alcohol didn't make you do it. That's what you wanted to do. Maybe alcohol gave you courage to do it. But what I'm telling you is you should not be putting your hands on children in anger or anybody in anger. And people want to discipline their children by spanking them. That's not against the law. But guess what? If somebody were to just spank an adult or hit an adult because you won't listen, how sometimes you have children and they're supposed to do chores, and sometimes parents will hit them because they didn't do the chores. By that same token, if an adult were to get hit for not doing their chores, you know what they call that? Assault, family violence. If an adult doesn't have the table made up the way somebody wants it made up and somebody hits them, or if they didn't make the bed in the morning and somebody hits them, guess what that is? That's an assault. But with the child, people say, that's okay. Here's the thing, when you have children may upset you, but you're not supposed to be hitting children in anger. There's to be 5 years deferred adjudication. Amber Salazar.
Ready, Your Honor.
Court is calling 2024 CR 009461, State versus Amber Salazar. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Ashley Jones.
Defense.
I'm El Dapa on behalf of Amber Nicole Salazar.
And are you Ms. Salazar?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all discovery? Did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Salazar, did you review the application for deferred adjudication or community supervision with your attorney, and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented? And probation, this is an application.
We
Ms.
filled out the
Salazar,
personal data sheet, so they have it already.
Thank you. Ms. Salazar, did you review the court admonishments with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're charged with injury to the child, elderly, or disabled with bodily injury as a third-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand? You have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent. Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yeah.
Please do not talk behind us when we're on the record. Just ask the deputy to move you down to that end. Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Salazar, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea, there's a $1,500 fine. The state recommends deferred adjudication. This will run concurrent with 2025 CC 002683. The state will take into consideration 2024 CC 742687, and there is an affirmative finding of family violence. Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to be designated as primary custodial parent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that to be the entirety of your plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Council, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 2 years. There be no contact with Dominique, Dominic Orozco, Diego Orozco, Johanna Rodriguez, anger management, parenting classes, and TAP evaluation, and follow all recommendations. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence?
Yes, Your Honor. State will offer State's Exhibit 1 and all attachments.
No objection.
And state, have you spoken with the complainants? All right, did you review the waivers with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there'll be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. Right, after reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding you guilty as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, is there a Child Protective Services case open?
Your Honor.
Is there a CPS case open on you?
I'm on TPS as Friday.
All right, and what is your status in CPS court? Are you following their recommendations?
Yes, I'm following our recommendations. I'm abiding by every rule that they have. And when I get out, I have to call my caseworker.
All right. Have you ever had any mental health issues?
No, Your Honor.
Do you live by yourself?
No, Your Honor.
Who do you live with?
My grandpa and my uncle.
All right, are there any underage children?
No, Your Honor.
And is this the only child you have?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, there's a $1,500 fine that will be probated. There's to be 5 years deferred adjudication. This runs in current with 2025 CC 002683. Taking consideration 2024 CC 742687. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. When's the last time you had employment?
Before I got in,
She has two jobs,
I
actually.
have to.
Doing what?
I'm a manager at China Rose, and I help take care of my mother.
All right. So that job where you take care of your mother, that's off the table. I don't allow people to be home healthcare providers or work with the elderly. Do you
She's-
understand?
Yes, ma'am.
She's a manager at a Chinese restaurant.
I mean, well, she can do that, but I'm not allowing her to get paid for taking care of her relative because that's a home health care provider in the court's eyes. And I don't allow that. There's to be proof of employment within 30 days. There should be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. There should be no unsupervised contact with minors. Field visits 1 time per month until further notice. And probation, if you can make sure that she is not the person who's taking care of her relative. There is to be no contact with Dominique Orozco, Diego Orozco. And I know I'm mispronouncing that. It's Orozco. Johanna Rodriguez. There's to be 200 hours of community service restitution. I'll deduct 100 hours for parenting classes, which I'm requiring. Have you ever had any drug issues?
No, Your Honor.
Have you ever been prescribed any type of mental health issue, any type of mental health medication in the past?
In the past, yes, Your Honor.
For what?
Just anxiety and depression.
All right, so there's the TAP evaluation and MIC evaluation out of custody. And if needed, a referral to Center for Healthcare Services. And I'll deduct another 100 hours for anger management. Probation, is there anything else?
Okay. Okay.
Wait, just one
Regular
second.
random.
Yes, regular random UAs and regular reporting by Zoom or in person. All right, is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No, Your Honor.
Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because this is plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing, when you have children, children may upset you, but you're not supposed to be hitting children in anger.
Yes, Your Honor.
And I asked
And I
her
know
what
people-
happened, Judge,
Yes.
and because she seems pretty meek. And I said, the police report doesn't reflect that. And I said, are you an alcoholic? So she was very upfront. I'm an alcoholic. I should not have been drinking. I shouldn't have been.
Well, she shouldn't have been drinking and driving. And I will tell you, alcohol, this is what I've discovered about alcohol. When people drink a lot of alcohol and they do things, they say, well, you know, the alcohol made me do it. Alcohol didn't make you do it. That's what you wanted to do. Maybe alcohol gave you courage to do it. But what I'm telling you is you should not be putting your hands on children in anger or anybody in anger. And, you know, people want to discipline their children by spanking them. You know, that's not against the law. But guess what? If somebody were to just spank an adult or hit an adult because you won't listen, like, why is this food don't taste good? Why doesn't the food taste good? You know, why isn't the trash taken out at this time? If somebody in a relationship were an adult were to hit somebody because they didn't do the dishes, you know how sometimes you have children and they're supposed to do chores, and sometimes parents will hit them because they didn't do the chores. By that same token, if an adult were to get hit for not doing their chores, you know what they call that? Assault, family violence. If an adult, you know, doesn't have the table made up the way somebody wants it made up, and somebody hits them, or if they didn't make the bed in the morning and somebody hits them, guess what that is? That's an assault. But with the child, people say, that's okay. So what I can tell you, your son, Dominique, is going to always remember what you did. And you're going to have to start doing better to make that up for him and to let him know that he can trust you and that you're not going to hit him out of anger. You understand?
And Your Honor, just for the record, we didn't bring that up to negate responsibility. It was just for her to recognize the problem that she has.
Okay. All right. You're going to have to do better.
Thank you,
Yes,
Judge.
Your Honor.
Good luck.
Excuse?
Yes.
This cold-hearted individual entrusted with the safety of children threw a vulnerable child to the ground, so the judge imposed a harsh sentence to reflect the seriousness of her actions.
So why are you doing this?
Instead of me pulling her and putting her down like the way I did, I could have did other ways. I could have either played the game with her. We could have
No, that's not what it says. What you're telling me is not what's in this police report. What it says is this child came home from this early learning center, S1, sitting on the ground, attempting to clean a cabinet, and the victim was standing in front of her. Suspect then can be seen throwing the victim aggressively to her side and the victim hitting the ground. So that's what they say happened. There wasn't I'm trying to stop her from falling. No, it's saying that you threw a child to the ground. And how old is this child?
She was 3.
All right, who throws a 3-year-old to the ground?
I didn't throw her down. I took her by her arms and I landed her down. And then I got over her and I told her to get up.
So let me ask you this. Do you love your grandchildren? What would you think if somebody did what you did to your to your 3-year-old granddaughter. You're saying, yes, I understand, but what do you understand?
I had
It's-
no right.
No, right. And from watching that video, what you're telling me is not the same that's in the police report. What's in the police report matches what's in that video. Court is going to sentence you to 4 years in the prison.